Where now I think the one and done of years past is the transfer portal because you see so many older guys, COVID year guys, fifth year guys coming in or transferring or going to a different school. It's almost like the freshmen are not valued as they had been from 2010 to whatever 2018-ish time, where it was mainly the young guys.
Yeah.
How much do you think that has changed from your point of view? Like, what if as a fifth year senior, I think it's more common than it's ever been in college basketball. How have you seen that switch
Yeah, it's just
sort of
been
occur over the last couple of years?
it's just been funny kind of seeing like, all right, the best player in the country a couple of years ago was Jabari Smith, hands down. The best three players were all freshmen, like 2 years ago. Chet Holmgren, Paulo Banchero, and Jabari Smith. That's just 2 years ago. Following year, best player in the country. Sheboy was up there, and Zach Edey was up there. These are older guys. These are third year guys. We're not seeing the freshmen. And then we get to this year. Who's best player of the year this year? Zach Edey again. It's like, okay, the trend of the young guys and Dalton Connect, good grief, like who's a fifth year himself. It's just like the trend of younger players being the best in the country has just died down, has dwindled down to, I think, out of like the Final Four, there's a stat out there, but pretty much the majority of the players in the Final Four were either fifth year or fourth year seniors. That was the majority of the Final Four lineups were fifth and fourth year seniors. So older guys were dominating the game. Freshmen just, obviously they're young and they're at a disadvantage only because their IQ, not the IQ, but experience.
Yeah, and I wondered too how that will translate to the higher levels, to the NBA, because you see guys Reed Shepherd, Rob Dillingham, for example, just because we were talking about Coach Cal, those popped in my head, but those are still guys that, although they didn't have much success in March and they didn't play on that big stage as a freshman outside of playing at Kentucky, the obvious, but like those are still guys that are going to the NBA lottery. But I wonder as I guess the longevity of college players becomes more seniority based again, if that will change. Will we see the top draft picks be seniors and juniors? Will we see it be guys like Kyle Filipowski, who's been at Duke for a couple of years? Will it be guys like Dalton Connect or Zach Edey, like you said? Will it be those guys? Like, will that trend continue into the NBA, or do you still think that they will pick guys are based off potential or based off a freshman year or even a five-star high school player, a Scala BCR or somebody who came in and was so highly ranked, didn't have a great experience in college, but they're still going to draft them based off what they could be.
Yeah, I think the trend of drafting up potential is going to die down because there's not a lot of guys that are reaching the potential that they thought they were going to have, in high school, whether that's due to personal issues or whatever, work ethic, I don't know. But I think they're going to start drafting these older guys mainly because they know the product they're getting, and if they're going to invest millions upon millions of dollars into a player, they kind of want to know the player they're going to get. And so I think we're going to start seeing that trend unless they're freaking, an ungodly talent like Victor Wembanyama or like a Cooper Flag per se. But if you're not one of those guys who's like, all right, you can compete with pros as a high schooler, and you're one of those guys who's like, top 10, top 25, top 30 in the country, being a one and done, you're gonna need to set yourself apart if you want to be a one and done nowadays, only because the college game is getting that much better between having older guys in there. So I think there'll be more parity probably 2 or 3 years from now. My class is the last class of the fifth years. And so it'll be interesting to see, next year or the year after, all right, where's the trend going now? Because there's no more fifth years. There's no more guys collecting by the NIL and stuff like that who's just going to dominate the game. So.